I grew up convinced that my grandmother knew things about the world the rest of us didn't. She wasn't like other grandmothers. She didn't care about cooking, knitting, or warm bedtime stories. She cared about one thing only: protecting me. Back then, I didn't understand why fear crept into her eyes every time she looked at the bathroom door, or why she always closed to the shower curtain every night before bed, even if nobody had used the bathroom. I was a kid and I thought adults were afraid of silly things like bugs or the dark. But now, after so many years, I know my grandmother wasn't afraid of the dark. She was afraid of what lived inside it. I remember the night everything changed with strange clarity, as if my mind refused to forget any detail despite the years. I was 10 years old. I woke from a bad dream to find my grandmother sitting at the edge of my bed, staring at me quietly. The moonlight fell across her face through the window, and I could see every wrinkle, every line carved by a long, heavy life.
She said in a low voice, as if she didn't want anyone else to hear, "You know, I'd never let anything bad happen to you, right?" I nodded. It was a familiar sentence. I had heard it dozens of times before. But that night, it didn't feel like the others. She held my hand tightly, tighter than usual. Her fingers trembled slightly. "There are things, if you ignore them, they'll take everything from you, even the people you love." I asked her, innocently, even though fear was creeping into my chest, "What things?" She looked at my bedroom door, not a normal glance, the look of someone who knows something is standing behind that door, even when it's shut. She leaned closer and whispered, "If you ever hear water running in the bathroom at night, don't go near it, don't open the door, and don't try to look." I swallowed hard. "Why?" She looked at her hand, then the floor, then my face. Her voice cracked as she answered, "Because whatever is inside the shower, it likes children. I don't know why, but if it ever touches you, you won't wake up again."
I shivered. Not because of the story itself, but because of how she said it. As if it was real. As if she had seen it. I asked, trying to sound brave, "Did you see it before?" She lowered her eyes, then slowly shook her head. More like she didn't want to say yes. And in a broken voice, she whispered, "More times than I ever wished to." She didn't say anything else. I tried to sleep that night, or pretended to. But her words echoed in my mind. "If you hear the water, don't open the door." I didn't know that soon I would understand exactly what she meant. About a week later it happened. I woke up very early. The world outside was still dark, and the whole house was asleep. Except there was one sound awake. Water. The shower was running. Not lightly, but loud, strong, like someone had been standing under it for a long time. I opened my eyes instantly. My grandmother's warning slammed into my memory. My body froze. My heartbeat grew loud, louder than the water itself. I got out of bed slowly. My feet trembled on the cold floor. The hallway was dark, but the yellow light coming from under the bathroom door made a strange glow, like the place wasn't normal anymore. I reached the door. It was closed, but not all the way. One more step, and the gap would widen. I knocked. "Nana?" No answer. I knocked again. And again, louder. "Nana!" Still nothing. I reached for the handle. I knew she'd told me not to, but I was scared for her. What if she fell? What if she was hurt? I turned the handle, and the door opened. Steam rushed like a wave of fire. The bathroom felt like a sauna, heat, steam, and suffocating moisture. Everything was blurry at first, but slowly the shapes began to appear. The sound came from the shower, water pounding hard, and through the steam, I saw her, my grandmother. She was lying inside the shower stall, her body curled like a child. Her eyes were open, but she wasn't looking at me. She was staring at a point above my head, as if someone tall was standing right behind me. I froze. I couldn't move. I couldn't scream.
But what made me step back wasn't her body. It was something else. On the glass door of the shower, there were finger marks. Not hers. Long, thin, and only 3 of them, trailing downward from above, as if something tall had been leaning over the shower from the ceiling. Seconds later, my father came running. He screamed, dragged me away, and everything became chaos, sirens, shouting. They said she died of a heart attack, but I knew what I saw. I saw the terror in her eyes, and I saw those fingers, those impossible fingers. After they took her body away, I stood in front of the bathroom again. Something inside me pushed me, a need to understand. I opened the door again. The steam was fading, but the heat remained. I stepped closer, then closer. The finger marks were still there, clear. But now, there was something else. On the fogged glass, written in my grandmother's shaky handwriting, "Run." Years passed. I grew up, got married, had kids. But one thing never changed. I never shower under running water. My wife thinks it's trauma from my grandmother's death. My kids laugh and call me weird, but they don't know the truth. Nobody does, because sometimes, in the middle of the night, the shower turns on by itself, and the water isn't just water. There's a sound mixed with it, like breathing or whispering. And the moment that terrified me most was the night I heard a voice say, "I remember you." And since then, I often hear faint movements behind the shower curtain, soft scratching, like fingers dragging across the fabric, 3 fingers. And the moment I realized that thing never left was a night not long ago. I was walking past the bathroom. The house was asleep. The lights were off. And suddenly, I heard the curtain move. I froze. My breath caught. Then, from behind the curtain, a soft voice came out, gentle, almost pleased. "You were little, but I remember your taste." And I heard 3 fingers scratching the porcelain, slowly, deliberately. Tonight, after all these years, I know my grandmother wasn't trying to scare me. She was trying to save me. But what she didn't know, or maybe she did, is that the thing in the shower doesn't stay in the bathroom. It follows its chosen ones. It smells them, watches them in mirrors, in room shadows, in rising steam. And it's still, after all these years, waiting for the right moment to finish what it started. And every night, when the house sleeps, I listen, I wait, and I count my breaths, praying it won't call me again. But always, always,
the water starts, and afterward, the same whisper, "Come in, I'm waiting."